It's a big matchup in Class 2A in the first round as the Big Piney Punchers head on the road to take on the Wheatland Bulldogs. And kind enough to take some time to visit with me, Ryan Visser, the head coach with the Big Piney Punchers. And, Coach, got off to an interesting start where I know you dropped, 3 of your first 5, but you've gotten on a little bit of a roll here, winning 4 in a row, including a big one over Cokeville. Interestingly enough, you won twice last week. How has that impacted you, having to play 2 games last week, do you feel?
It's kind of the opposite of last year. Last year we really started hot and then kind of petered out at the end, had some injury issues. This year kind of the opposite. We had our injury issues at the beginning of the year, kind of got them out of the way. Now, we're kind of playing our best ball late. And, it was really weird to play 3 games in 8 days. Never done anything like that before, but, it's just what you make out of it. And I told our kids, let's not make this an excuse. Let's use it to build. And, they've been playing really good.
So how do you capitalize on that momentum, winning 4 in a row, coming into the postseason, do you feel?
Try not to change anything, play the same that we've been doing. Hopefully we're doing something right, winning 4 in a row. So just keep doing what we're doing. Don't try and make the playoffs any bigger than it is.
You guys obviously have the top-ranked pass defense right now, and some of that's predicated on opponents you play. Some of that is how you scheme some things. But you're going to see one of the better passing teams and maybe a style that you don't necessarily see on the west side. How do you think that impacts this matchup on Friday night between you and Wheatland?
No, they're a really good team, really good throwing team. Yeah, like you said, we've got a couple teams that like to throw it, and we feel like we've done some things to hopefully stop them. But, no, this is a different type of offense than we've seen all year, and it's a good challenge for our team. And, we're ranked number 1 in the state in defense and passing defense, but – Wheatland's good.
So what makes your team go? What makes your team click? And especially winning 4 in a row, do you feel, coming in?
I just feel like this team really works well together, plays really hard together. Got a lot of seniors that have played since they were sophomores. I think the cohesion's there and just the playing as a team. We don't really got a bunch of stars, quote-unquote. Everyone just kind of stepped up their game from last year and is playing well together.
Do you think they learned from some of that adversity late last season and carried that into this year as maybe a little motivating factor?
I'd like to think so, yeah. We are at one point sitting number 1 in 2A in the rankings and 4-0. I kind of watched it fall away. And some of it, like I said, we had some untimely injuries, but also we had chances. And I'd hope they did learn from that. We talked a lot about that this offseason, about having no regrets and putting in as much work as we can so that we can make it as far as we can this season.
You mentioned Wheatland and talked about how good their passing attack is. What are your impressions of Coach Bolander's squad?
They're well coached, first off. Credit to them. And they definitely do what they do well. They got a really good athletic team. They got some really good playmakers that make what I call splash plays. And, they're a good group. I kind of think they are very similar to us as far as speed and mixing up the pass and a run. So it's a really good matchup.
How difficult is it when you don't see teams like this too often? Because you pretty much stayed on the western half of the state and obviously played an Evanston JV and a team from Idaho earlier in the year. How difficult is it when you haven't seen teams like this?
It is very different. It's almost like, because even common opponents are not very similar usually. It's kind of the unknown, but I feel like we've watched enough film and seen enough of them that we kind of get an idea for them. And I think that's the fun part about this year in 2A is I feel like a lot of them are very similar as far as the matchups and the teams that are being built right now.
So what's got to go well for you in the game Friday to have a chance to pull a little bit of a surprise on the road to some people?
I would say just we got to keep the mistakes to a minimum. Not a lot of penalties, not a lot of turnovers. Hopefully force them into some of those turnovers and penalties. And then just play our ball. Like I said, hopefully we're doing something right for a reason. Right now, winning 4 in a row, and don't try and overthink it and just play our game.
Well, hopefully that bell isn't the final buzzer on the season, Coach. Just kidding a little bit. But, hey, best of luck to you in the playoff game at Wheatland on Friday.